first one. All right.
So who's gonna start?
I'm the makeup artist and hairstylist for the
Giorgia.
product. I started in filmmaking recently. Actually, I was outside even when Yuliia reached out to me for this project. I'm super grateful to be a part of this short film because, of course, it came out beautifully. So I'm really happy.
Well, I am Noemi Cosoleto. I want to be a director. I'm a director, and I started in filmmaking when I discovered that it could be something I can do to express myself, like 6 or 7 years ago, when I found out there was a school, university where I could study the not just directing, but the whole cinema industry. I fell in love with it, and then I started to try to do projects, and this project is one of my favorites because it was beautiful for a lot of reasons.
Hi, my name is Yuliia Bol Sobol. I'm a producer of this film and also an actress. How did I start? I think like each one of us filmmakers, we just fell in love with it, with cinema. I just, since I was a kid, I was in love with cinema, but I fell in love with it when I was in London. I was living in London and I saw Punch Drunk Theatre, Sleep No More. And I was like, all right, I have to be there. I have to do this. And then I just went to study, and that's how I ended up making films.
My name is Adrian Bol. I'm not going to tell you when I started making films because that's a really long time ago. I started just after I finished my study art at the Art Academy in Amsterdam. I was actually focusing more on painting than on film, but I got a chance to work in film, and it became my passion. Started out as commercials, TV, then shorts and features, both as a writer and director. This project I wrote, but I'm also a director, so I'm doing both.
Well, I didn't write this project because the writer are Yuliia and Adrian. I was involved by Yuliia in this project, but it was something that I don't know. It changed while we were doing it. I met Yuliia in Amsterdam for a lucky. It was a lack because we didn't met for a lot of years, and we talked about doing something together. And then after a few months, she called me and she was like, "Okay, I want to do this. I want to make this project. I'm writing 3 monologues, and I want to record them." And when we were there, the project became even bigger, even better than what we thought, and the result is what you saw.
So I was really inspired by the big emotions and feelings that we want to portray, and that really pushed me into giving my best and actually create a connection with each character. I think as a makeup artist, that connection is really a key component to customize the looks to the actress and the scenes as well.
Yes, well,
She started it, so she should start this answer, I guess.
Well, it was born as Noemi said, it was born as 3 separate monologues that I just wanted to showcase some of my acting skills. But it ended up to be something much more profound and valuable than that, which is the message that you see in the film. I don't want to do any spoilers here, so just go and watch it. But it is really precious to me, and it is really important and a project close to my heart. He was forced to write it. Otherwise, I wouldn't give him food.
Because it was her idea, and Yuliia had already the idea of the 3 characters, and then she put it on my plate, and she said like, okay, I want 3 monologues, and they have to be, it has to make sense and all this kind of thing. So we were brainstorming together, like, how can we really make little stories within these 3 monologues, that they all have a beginning, middle, and an end. And And it was an interesting process because actually Yuliia was I was writing, and then she was actually recording it by herself. We have a little studio in our house, and just improvising a little bit around what I had written, and came up with very interesting things that I then used in the script. So it was a very, I would say, like a spontaneous but also organic process, which was really nice. And eventually we united the three monologues into one story, and that was originally not the plan, but that is what it turned out to be, and actually that worked very well. So no, it was very interesting way of doing it.
I also remember Georgia waking up in the morning, having breakfast. She was like, "Tonight I dreamt how to do the makeup," and she was like, I dreamt about it." I remember every morning. It was fun.
You have to ask Adrian. He's from Holland, so he has his Dutch jokes. How to
But
do.
no, jokes, anecdotes, not jokes.
Well, I mean, it was just a really, really fun process because I mean, we are all also friends. We're not just colleagues, but we also have a friendship, and it was really cool to just be together and create something really that is inspiring to all of us. So I'm just having this courage to speak for all of us, but I think it was interesting and fun for all of us. So yeah, I think it was just fun being together and exploring and creating and being part of this process without any obligations that you have when you do big commercial projects. So yeah, it's very freeing, in term.
And we could experiment, I mean, in terms of story, but also, when I saw what Noemi was doing with the lights, she had lights everywhere, and then, really trying to catch, to make it special, make it original. And there's one scene with fire, but of course we didn't have real fire. It's just, it's recorded in a small room in our house. But she really managed to create the light effect of fire, with very simple kind of tools. And it was just fun to do, because if you would see behind the scenes what actually we were doing, moving things around, and with smoke and blowing to get the smoke in the right direction and not too much, it was very funny. And Yuliia at the same time, was acting very, very, very serious and very dramatic.
Yeah,
So
they were laughing under, and I was just trying to.
So that was really cool. And also Georgia, she really she really made
fantastic.
the best out of the makeup, and really, really went to
Yeah.
the max to get to really say something with it, not just to do makeup, just to look good or whatever, but really to
Communicate.
to communicate something, and really and bring the story more forward, let's say. So maybe you can say a little bit about that, Georgia.
Thank you, guys. First of all, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing working together as a team and as friends as well, because we got to experiment a lot. And I think the fire was one of the highlights of the whole production, because it was so funny, because we had to move the light, like, in order to mimic the movement of the fire on Yulia, and it was all very funny. But that is one of my best anecdotes, like, ever in my whole career. Best scene.
And I think also to putting dirt on me on a terrace when it's cold. I was in a dress that it was really cold, but I had to be, like as if I was in the fire. So they had to put dirt on me, and Georgia was like putting dirt from the fireplace on me and everything, and it was so cold.
Um, well, um, uh, I think I can be. I mean, maybe I can be. I can say mainstream, but I love the way that Wes Anderson makes his movies, and also at the opposite, Tim Burton. They are like one of the opposite of the other, but there are two directors they have two styles that I love, uh, for um, for a lot of reasons. Most of all because you can recognize them even without knowing that they made that thing, and that's what I would like to achieve. I mean, somebody sees something and it's like, oh, it's yours. uh and yeah, I think that's all.
So when it comes to designing the looks, it really is like a connect of the dots together. Like the lighting plays such a huge role into designing what actual product to use on set, and also the dresses, how the whole ambient atmosphere is. Like maybe some feel more dark or some feel more lighthearted. So it's a lot of calculation of very different aspects, but it really is fun because uh, everything that changes gives you a new challenge that you have to overcome and figure out. So it's fun, it's entertaining, it's very dynamic. I love it.
Well, it was my first film that I produced, so I am not really like a big producer or something. Just starting out. Actually, we are now developing some films with our production company that are full length films and a little bigger in terms of budget. But I didn't produce before, so I was just acting, and from seeing what producers do, from also learning from the craft, I could know more or less what to do, and just I was learning as I was doing it. So basically, that's how I combined it. To be really honest with you, I for this specific project, I really tried to do the less possible. In that case, for me, was less is more because I am normally very a perfectionist in terms of I want to do everything on a high level and to work everything out, every little detail. And for this, I wanted it also to be alive, to live that life there, to not suffocate it with techniques and you know things on top of it. So mm and a lot of what is in the film, it's there are some moments that are actually from my life experience. That's why it's also so powerful for me to portray that. So um i I didn't use any specific technique. I just like combine them and then I let it go.
Well, if the idea is good, then you have an advantage. If you're given an idea which is bad, then you have to go back to the designing table and say like, listen, guys, this is not good. But in this case, what Yuliia had in mind was very clear, and it was my job, let's say, together with her, to just to make it stronger, to make it more clear, to make what I said in the beginning, that every monologue a little story in and of itself, with a setup, a build, a payoff, and a moment within the story that something changes, something shifts, or and one of the second film, the second monologue, which is the longest, there is this big transformation within the character. And while I was writing it, I knew, okay, that is the transformation we need. But I couldn't really write it in dialogue because it was something that she just had to act. It's just something she had to play physically, let's say, just really within the emotion of what she was doing. So we talked, and I said, like, Yuliia, can you go from this point to this point and do it without much, dialogue of text, let's say. And she did it wonderfully, and that worked really well. That worked really well. So that was very nice. Yeah.
uh, I don't know, I've never thought about it. mm, um I don't know.
For me,
Yuliia,
Anna,
Yuliia,
you did
Adrian,
it again.
Giorgia.
Oh, well, of course. Always. I always want to work with you. Yeah. Well, there are a lot of actors and actresses that I would like to work with because I think they're amazing. And like, well, it would be amazing to work with, I don't know, Christian Bale, for example. I think it's one of the best actors in the world. Or I don't know. Well,
Marlon Brando.
I'm pretty.
If he wasn't,
He's
if
dead.
he wasn't dead.
Maybe I
Meryl
can
Streep.
bring him
Meryl
to
Streep.
life.
Who knows? Maybe we found a way to resuscitate.
No, he's retired, but okay, you know.
I don't.
Mhm. So I would love to work. There's this amazing artist that works in fashion. Her name is Valentina Lee. She's so talented. I would love to work with her, but also maybe like Bella Hadid, you know, maybe models that also bring a message to the world. They're not just, you know, these beautiful angels come down to her, but they're also like active in the community and speak about issues and stuff that it's important to talk about. Yeah.
My tip is learn to write for anyone. That's just the basis of any story that, you know, for any director or even actors. You know, if you like what Yuliia did, she wanted to play certain parts, so she created monologues in that part, in those characters, to show to casting agents and to people. You know, so even if you're not casted for certain parts and you want to get there, you know, you can create your own content, let's say, and show that you can do it. But then the content needs to be good. So to me, it all starts with a good script, with a good story. If you have that, then the directing will be easy, the acting will be easy, everything will make sense. If you don't have a good script, you're going to suffer along the way. So that's my tip.
For me, I'd give a tip for actors is just learn the craft because that's the basics, um, and find a good agent, and also know what kind of parts. Just make a strategy for your career because it's really important to know what are the points, what are the bullet points you want to go, what kind of parts you want to play, what kind of parts you don't want to play, films, genres, and all of that because there's so much, you know, happening and so many possibilities and so many projects. You have to know where you fit and what is your value, what are you bringing to the table as an actor. And my advice is to find that uniqueness that you're bringing and to explore that and to express that. And so yeah.
Oh yes. Well, my tip is to create and do a lot of experiments. Take the camera and do stuff. I mean, and edit and have fun with filming and editing. I think that's the way you can find your own way to communicate. I think that's enough.
Hmm. Okay, this one is good. So I think it's really harsh industry, and you gotta learn how to handle rejection, but you have to keep like pushing and pushing. You never give up because it really is like a long time, a long run. So you need to keep believing in yourself, keep being kind to people because they will remember you and ask you to be a part of an amazing short film that gets an award. Like, so keep pushing, believe in yourself. Yeah.
Can I answer for you?
But
Can I?
well, yes.
For Adrian, is a Turkish delight.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's a Dutch film from the 70s, actually. Very famous film from Paul Verhoeven. It's one of his first films. You know Paul Verhoeven? He did Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
He's a Dutch director, and so he directed when he started out one of his first films was Turkey's Delight. It's in Dutch, so not many people know it, but it's a really good film, and it was about an artist played by Rutger Hauer. And later on, I worked with Rutger, um, and he just looked like me exactly at that time. So he played a character, and he had long blonde hair, and it was just exactly like me. And he was an artist in the film. He was exactly what I wanted to be, how I wanted to live, who I wanted to be. So yeah, that is absolute a mirror of my desire and what I wanted. Yeah.
Your answer for me. Just for you.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I really do enjoy spy thrillers. It is really a genre that really inspires me, and I love like Anna, of Luc Besson, or Red Sparrow with Jennifer Lawrence. It is really like kind of great films that I do enjoy, and I see myself there, like playing that kind of part. So I hope one day.
But he asked, does it relate to you as a
Yes, of
person?
course it does relate to me.
But in what sense?
Well, the whole spy world relates to me.
Okay.
I just like it.
She's a secret spy, you know?
Don't take Dutch jokes serious. Just like 90% of what he says is a joke. So
10% is truth. Hey,
guess which is 10, which is 90.
Well, I can say that I like, and I can relate to the Vince Gilligan's, maybe Breaking Bad and the stuff. I mean, I love the the light they use. I love the camera because it's always in, I mean, particular spots. It's sometimes it's like what I'm looking at, and maybe that's what I would like to do. Something that you look at and you're like, I mean, you don't know, you don't feel immediately comfortable. Like you have to 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 go into the mood. I mean, maybe something like that.
So it's gonna sound really weird, but I can. I really enjoy the Sherlock Holmes the series, the one with Benedict Cumberbatch, and I can relate to that. Just not the intelligent part. That one I cannot relate to, but I really like pattern recognition and real life puzzles. And also, I'm a bit socially awkward as well, so I can relate to that part about the series. I find it very interesting. It's funny to watch.
Well, thank you so much for having us here, and for inviting us for interview and for
good.
selecting our film in the first place.
Thank you so much.